welcome to another video, and in this one I am playing with alcohol inks again, and this time on synthetic paper. Now most of the stuff I'm going to be using is paper mill ink, with a few exceptions like these two fluoro inks from Coach Creations, but all of these inks I did a big old swatching of in my tub of ink swatching that I think was actually my very first video on this channel, which I will link in the below or in the little thingy in the corner. Either, I don't know. I will figure it out. And I'm also using this Paper Mill synthetic paper, which is 450 GSM. It was really cheap from Riot, and that was in my latest haul video. Now, clever me stopped recording and forgot to start recording again until I was quite a significant way into it, but I have a few different color combinations I was testing out. And so this one was like a warm color combination, with the fluoro pink, fluoro orange from Coach Creations, and then the pink and mandarin, just base alcohol inks, and then a few different warmer hued shimmer and metallic inks, because we all love shimmer and metallics, surely. But that there is the, I think, Space Sand, which is a really nice color. Now this was my first sort of go of it, and this is the one that I was least happy with. I've actually gone back since and played with it some more, but I didn't film that. But if you do too many colors, too many conflicting colors, it starts to get really muddy. But I'm learning, and it's really good to practice what you're learning, to figure things out as you go, and to sort of learn what color combinations work, what don't, and what colors I really like, what colors I would get again, and what colors that I can probably safely say are good to have tried out, but I don't plan on getting again. And just learning different techniques and whatnot. So I did a lot of twisting and twirling here. It moves so much smoother than on the handmade paper, which was another video where I played with the alcohol inks. I'm just sort of in the alcohol ink vibe, I guess. I have a few of that. But I was interested in seeing texture things. Now, if I got really into it, I might get different things. This is just paper towel and seeing the different spotting techniques. Now, I do want to apologize for the super, super reflective surface. That's just the ring light that I use to light everything up, because I don't have a lot of lighting, and if I'm unable to work during the day, which is often when I'm working at night, and if I want to film it, I have to use a lot of different lightings. And yeah, this one, because it's so shiny, it's just so reflective, which is a bit of a bugger to look at. I've tried to correct it a bit to make it not so blinding, but I don't want to take away from the color either, so live and learn. But as I was playing with texture, that was pretty fun. That's definitely something that I will mess around with more as I continue with these sort of things. But I think it's just so fun to wobble it around and hold the paper in different angles and whatnot. But this was my cool tone ones. So I was some more paper mill ink, different metallic and shimmer ones, and just playing with different tones. I thought these ones might go really well together. And I had a glitter one here. Just wanted to see how the glitter would work amongst everything else. So this one is the turquoise, and it's significantly bluer on camera. It has a lot more of a green hue in person, but that just is the way with these things. The camera can't always pick it up correctly, and then the monitor screen doesn't always pick it up correctly as well. Unfortunately, but I found using more ink to start with really helped with the movement, because the first one, you couldn't see it because I didn't actually record it, but I used very, very light amounts of ink because I didn't want to, waste it. And I found it just didn't pour very nicely. I couldn't twist it very well. And when I got the straw out to move stuff around, lots of it was starting to dry. So it was very much a use more. When you're using alcohol ink, more is better. And since the brand I'm using, the Paper Mill, mostly with a little bit of Couture Creation, it's pretty inexpensive. So it's not too bad to buy more ink. And it does go further than I thought. But, I actually really just love watching it move. There's a lot of letting go in this sort of art creation and just letting it do its own thing. The only sad part about alcohol ink is that I don't believe that there's any that is light fast. So, this will fade over time, which is unfortunate, but that's what happens. So you sort of there to enjoy the process, which I definitely am. And I loved putting the metallic or the shimmer on the page and just watching that bleed through and bleed out. Because if you've watched any of my videos before, you probably heard me gush about loving shimmer and glitter and sparkle, because, I just think it's gorgeous. I mean, I went through a huge stage of my life where I hated all that stuff. I was a very much like I'm not like other girls kind of girl, very into just grungy, dirty looks, which there's nothing wrong with, and I still vibe with. But the reason that I didn't like glitter was because I didn't want to be considered girly. That was my main flaw, I think, at that age. But I think most of us will go through similar stages like that, where we just start to hate the things that are heavily associated with our just stereotypical, any sort of stereotypes that are applied to us due to either our gender or our race or our sexuality. We might have a massive pushback against that and just sort of hate anything related to that. And then when you're an adult and more confident in yourself, you might finally be able to push back and be like, no, I do like these things. I don't have to dislike things just because, it might turn me into a stereotype. But yeah, there's a lot of learning you have to go through in those teenage years. It's a hard time. There's so much pressure on you. I'm so glad to be out of that stage now and just appreciating glimmer and shimmer and just watching it go crazy on the page. Like no movement at all except for what it wants to do, and it just blends out. And finally, for the last thing I sort of tried, it was just a purely purple paper with 4 different purples. I have like a metallic shimmer one, a plain base amethyst colored alcohol ink, a really glittery purple ink from Couture Creations, and a fluoro ink also from Couture Creations. But they're all purple, so my main idea was like, do a warm spread, a cool spread, and then a purple one, because that can be either cool or warm depending on its base. Now I will say, this particular shade is looking extremely blue right now, which is not the case in person. It's very much it's a bluey purple, but it's very much purple. So, a little bit annoying. I can try fiddling with color correction and see if I can get it to look more like how it looks to my eye, but it's one of those things where it just... I'm just not very technologically savvy with those kind of things, so I'm doing my best, and we'll just have to see. Now, as you can see, the fluoro purple looks extremely pink. There's definitely a purple hue to it, but yeah, it's gone too far the other way now. In any case, I really love watching them bleed into each other. And so instead of trying like a crisscross one, I was like, either side, let's see how that goes, how it pours together. And I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun with these. And if anyone is thinking of looking to try playing with alcohol inks, you can get them fairly cheap, and they're just fun and on this sort of synthetic paper or Yupo paper. Yupo. You can get that. Sorry, my brain just frazzled up a bit. Though make sure you're doing it in a well ventilated area, because the alcohol ink does really, really smell, and so you have to be careful of that. I know that the fumes can be dangerous. So yeah, I'm doing it by like 2 open windows with like a cross breeze sort of thing happening. And it's actually like pretty nice weather where I am at the moment, so that's actually kind of nice. Probably have the windows open anyway, but yeah, no, that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, no, I absolutely love how these things just pour. I definitely think it's a fun thing to do, almost as like a de-stress. I know some people like to do those coloring, adult coloring books, which I have tried, but I find them a little tedious myself. I think if I want to de-stress, I will play with alcohol inks. Yeah, and just like swish them around the page and see what happens. So yeah, I definitely recommend this sort of stuff. I definitely recommend the Paper Mill. They have a lot of good colors in different sizes, different styles, like your flat inks, your shimmer, metallic, and then Couture Creations have these lovely glittery inks. They are so insanely glittery, and they bleed out really, really nicely. But they also, now that it's dried, there are some really cool like segmentation things happening. It's completely unpredictable, and it's just so much fun. So here are some like close-ups. I ignore my handheld wobbly work. I am sorry about that. Actually, I don't think that's completely dry. It's still a little shiny, but you can just see how the shimmer and the glitter. Oh, look at all the glitter in the purple. It's crazy. I absolutely love this. Definitely recommend. I hope you give it a try. But I think that's all for that video, and I will, if I'm lucky, see you next time. I hope you learned something. Bye-bye.